In 2010, an engineer named Crispy made a surprising discovery while studying the Temple of the Three Windows at Machu Picchu. From a structural perspective, it appeared there was a hidden entrance leading underground. Using ground-penetrating radar, Crispy and his team detected what seemed to be a cave beneath the site. Even more intriguing, the scan revealed a significant presence of metal, suggesting the possibility that the legendary golden mummy of King Pachacuti might be buried there. To understand the full context of this mystery, we go back to July 24, 1911. Deep in the jungles of Peru, a Yale University professor named Hiram Bingham was on a quest to find a lost city. Nearly 4 centuries earlier, during the fall of the Inca Empire, stories told of how the Spanish invaders forced the Inca king to hide all of his gold in a remote location known as Vilcabamba, a place that became mythologized as the fabled City of Gold. Bingham followed the winding Urubamba River, braving treacherous jungle terrain. After a grueling journey, he finally reached a mountaintop. There, turning a corner, he was stunned by the sight before him. Over 200 ancient stone buildings buried beneath thick jungle foliage. He and his team began excavating the vast site. Local villagers told him the name of the place, Machu Picchu. Because the Incas had no written language, the true purpose and original owner of Machu Picchu remained an unsolved mystery. But what we do know is that the Inca Empire was founded in the early 15th century, starting with a population of about 100,000 people. Over the next century, the empire expanded dramatically, growing to encompass over 10 million people and stretching more than 4,000 kilometers from north to south. It became world-renowned for its immense wealth in gold. In 1532, the Spanish arrived in Peru. The Inca Empire could not resist the invaders' guns and foreign diseases. The last Inca king fled with a small group of followers, about 100 people, into the remote region of Vilcabamba. Bingham came to believe that Machu Picchu itself might actually be Vilcabamba. During their excavation,
100.
Bingham's team unearthed a large tomb. After initial examinations, more than 80% of the human remains uncovered at the site were initially believed to be female. This led early researchers to conclude that they might be the legendary Virgins of the Sun, women chosen to serve the Inca Empire in sacred roles. However, despite the discovery of buildings and tombs, the mythical treasure, the vast quantities of gold described in stories, was never found. Hiram Bingham passed away in 1956, holding firm to his belief that Machu Picchu was the final lost city of the Inca Empire. Yet over time, many historians and archaeologists began to question that conclusion. Re-examinations of the tombs and skeletal remains suggested that Bingham's interpretations had been mistaken. Later analysis revealed the people buried there were likely local Quechua natives, and the ratio of men to women was actually fairly balanced. Another crucial piece of evidence: historical accounts indicate the Spanish had looted and burned Vilcabamba to the ground. But Machu Picchu remained untouched. No signs of destruction, no trace of conflict. This raised a critical question. If Machu Picchu wasn't Vilcabamba, then what was its true purpose? Why was it built in such a remote and defensible location?
Then what?
Perched high on a mountaintop, Machu Picchu is surrounded on 3 sides by steep valleys and rivers. There is only a single narrow entrance, just a small path carved into the edge of a cliff, making it extremely easy to defend. Yet the city's layout and architectural details don't resemble those of a military stronghold. No weapons were found buried with the dead. No remains showed signs of violent conflict or warfare. Then, in 1987, a researcher working in the archives of Cusco the former capital of the Inca Empire, made an accidental but groundbreaking discovery. Among the centuries-old documents, he found a letter written in 1568. It described a legal dispute in which an Inca family petitioned for the return of their ancestral land. That land included a palace on top of a mountain, referred to simply as Pichu. The location described in the letter closely matched the known geography of Machu Picchu. Even more remarkably, the family claimed direct descent from King Pachacuti, the most famous ruler in Inca history. So, what if we stopped thinking of Machu Picchu as a lost city? Then everything begins to fall into place. The tombs that Bingham had excavated were likely the resting places of servants who had lived and worked alongside the city's rulers. Scholars now believe that Machu Picchu was constructed in the mid-15th century as a royal retreat for the Inca king Pachacuti himself. Yet the layout and features of the city suggest that Machu Picchu was more than just a royal residence. Some structures point toward a deeper, spiritual significance. Among Bingham's discoveries was a curved wall strikingly similar to the Temple of the Sun in Cusco. This structure was built above a cave, and within the cave were finely carved stones, an architectural alignment that mirrored important religious design principles of the Incas. The proximity of this temple to the king's own residence was no accident. As the son of the sun god, the king was believed to dwell near sacred solar spaces. The Incas didn't only venerate the sun, water was equally sacred. At the heart of their belief system stood Pachamama, Mother Earth. She was the source of life and had to be honored through ritual and purification. Water ceremonies were a vital part of this spiritual practice. Archaeological evidence shows that near Machu Picchu was a site called Chachabamba, dedicated specifically to the worship of water. Discovered in 1940, Chachabamba featured 14 ceremonial fountains. Historians believe these fountains were used by pilgrims traveling to Machu Picchu, allowing them to cleanse their bodies and souls before arriving at the sacred city. Whether or not Machu Picchu served as a pilgrimage destination, many of its buildings clearly had religious significance. Among them were the Temple of the Three Windows and the Temple of the Condor. In Inca cosmology, the Condor was a divine messenger, a sacred being that connected the earthly realm with the heavens. On one large rock, Inca craftsmen carved two massive wings and the head of a condor, transforming the natural stone into a spiritual symbol. This was believed to be a ceremonial site for offerings and sacrifices. These sacrifices may have included animals, and possibly, in more solemn rituals, human beings. One such rite was known as Capacocha. During times of crisis or transition, children were sometimes chosen as offerings to the gods. It was a tragic but sacred act, rooted in the belief that their sacrifice would ensure harmony between the human world and the divine. For the Incas, survival depended not just on strength or strategy, but on maintaining balance with the powerful forces of nature and the cosmos that surrounded them. They believed that the only way to ensure balance and prosperity was through offering the most meaningful sacrifices. In their view, the more advanced the offering, the more it pleased the gods. Yet to this day, there is no concrete evidence that the Capacocha ritual was ever performed at Machu Picchu. Not a single trace has been found. What has been confirmed, however, is that the Incas possessed an extraordinary understanding of astronomy. They tracked the movement of celestial bodies with stunning accuracy. By studying the sun's position in the sky, they could mark the passage of time, an incredibly difficult feat accomplished with remarkable precision. The Temple of the Sun was not the only structure aligned to celestial phenomena. Machu Picchu contained at least 2 observatories. Beneath the Temple of the Sun lies a cave with delicately carved stones. During the June solstice, a shaft of sunlight would illuminate the cave's interior, possibly aligning with both solar and lunar cycles. At the highest point of Machu Picchu stands one of its most iconic features, a stone carved directly from the bedrock, known as the Intihuatana. Its name translates to hitching post of the sun. This sacred stone mirrors the shape of the nearby Huayna Picchu mountain. During the equinoxes, when the sun sits directly overhead, the Intihuatana casts no shadow. It disappears into the light, becoming invisible, almost otherworldly. The Incas used this and other markers to track solstices, which were critical for planning agricultural cycles like planting and harvesting. Whatever motivated the creation of Machu Picchu, whether spiritual devotion, scientific inquiry, or royal leisure, it stands as undeniable proof of the Inca civilization's brilliance. They were not only master builders and engineers, but also astronomers and philosophers, in tune with both the heavens and the earth. But the story doesn't end there. New evidence suggests that the history of Machu Picchu might stretch even further back than we imagined. The Andes Mountains have been home to complex civilizations for millennia, with early cities dating to around 3000 BCE. These cultures laid the foundation for what would eventually become the Inca Empire. Just a short walk from Machu Picchu's heart, in an area named in honor of Pachamama, stands a massive granite boulder. On its surface is something astonishing, a carved image of a man, a llama, and several geometric patterns in black and white. These symbols are unlike anything attributed to the Inca. In fact, they date as far back as 800 CE. Some researchers even propose a more unconventional theory, that these patterns may hint at contact with civilizations beyond Earth. Whether grounded in mythology or science fiction, the suggestion underscores just how mysterious and layered Machu Picchu's legacy truly is. Even today, hidden deep in the cloud forests of Peru, Machu Picchu continues to guard its secrets, silent, sacred, and waiting for the next question to be asked. One legend stands out in particular, an Inca story that some interpret as a supernatural encounter. On the eve of a great battle, Emperor Pachacuti stood at the edge of a lake. Suddenly, a glowing disk descended from the sky, and a face appeared upon it. This celestial being told Pachacuti he would triumph in the coming war. Then, as the story goes, massive stones came to life, floating, sentient, and helped him win the battle. These same living stones were said to have helped build Machu Picchu itself. Of course, these are legends, tales passed down through generations. But even legends often hint at truths. Some experts suggest that for Machu Picchu to remain stable atop such rugged terrain, extensive underground foundations would have been necessary. It's very possible that hidden chambers or tunnels lie buried beneath the surface, still undiscovered. In fact, in 2010, engineer David Crespi made a compelling discovery while examining the Temple of the Three Windows. His structural analysis indicated a potential hidden entrance leading deeper underground. 2 years later, in April 2012, he and a team of archaeologists used ground-penetrating radar and detected a cavity beneath the site, possibly accessed by stairs. The radar also showed a substantial amount of metal within the chamber. Some believe this might be evidence of treasure, or even the golden mummy of Pachacuti himself. However, the Peruvian government denied permission for further excavation, and so the mystery remains sealed beneath stone and earth. What we do know is this: Pachacuti died in the year 1470. The entire empire mourned his passing for an entire year, and a full month was dedicated to honoring his legacy. Initially, his body was enshrined in Cusco, the empire's capital. But after the Spanish conquest began in 1532, his mummy vanished without a trace. Later, in 1559, the Spanish viceroy ordered all royal Incan remains to be gathered and brought to Lima. There, they were kept at a hospital and later buried. Yet when modern scholars examined these remains, none could be definitively identified as Pachacuti. And so the central question lingers. Was Machu Picchu a fortress built for war, or a sacred haven devoted to peace? Was it a temple, a royal estate, or something else entirely? An intersection of worlds both earthly and divine? To this day, Machu Picchu guards its secrets in silence, perched high above the clouds, a testament to Incan genius, a riddle etched in stone, and a doorway, perhaps, to something far older and far stranger than we've yet dared to imagine.